Hello and welcome everyone to Robin in Southeast Asia video channel. So today is Monday's theme, which is English learning and education, as you can see there. And we're going to talk about online teaching versus classroom teaching. So let's get started. There's quite a bit to cover, and this is very valuable. Everyone who wants to teach should watch this. So, which is better? So, we're going to talk about flexibility, student interactions, discipline and management. That's a big one, especially for classroom teaching, income potential, and lifestyle and stress. Let's get started. Thank you that you're here. So, which is better? So, hello, my name is Robin Brightman, and today I want to compare two very different ways of teaching English online versus traditional classroom teaching. I've done both. I've taught in public schools and language centers in Canada. Uh, Canada was only online, but in Thailand and Vietnam, yes. And now I am in the Philippines where I teach only online. It's much like Canada. The Philippines speaks English quite often and abundantly. It's everywhere. Each method has advantages and disadvantages, and the best choice depends on your personality, your goals, and lifestyle. Let's compare them. So that's something. Every time you record, you get an itchy nose. Eh? My teaching and professional background. Before becoming an English teacher, I earned a Bachelor of Science in Pharmacy from the University of British Columbia in Canada in 1991. And that's a top 40 university in the world. So it's a good one. And I had the privilege of going. Thanks, thanks to my parents. I then spent more than 4 years working as a regular pharmacist, eventually moving into the specialized field of compounding pharmacy and learning that over the next 20 years. A regular pharmacist counts pills from one bottle to another, does minimal compounding, which is mixing of things. When you specialize in compounding, you basically develop a lab. You can do thyroid therapies, transdermal, which means through the skin, um, all kinds of things like pain relief gels that go through the skin and relieve pain. Capsules, tablets, suspensions, suppositories, you name it, we can do it. And I did it. So I had spent 4 years working as a regular pharmacist, and then eventually moved into the field of specialized compounding pharmacy and did that over the next 20 years. And every year, you're always learning. After more than 2 decades in healthcare, I completed my TESOL, TEFL, and TESOL, which I talked about last Monday, certification in 2015, and began teaching English online internationally in 2015. It began slowly, and I eventually gained skill and even an IELTS preparation certificate in 2020. Like I said, since then, I've taught in Canada, Thailand, Vietnam, and now the Philippines. Online teaching wins. For flexibility and freedom, online teaching wins. It is remote working. You can work from home with an air conditioner. That's huge in a hot country. You can work from another country, which is beautiful. You can pick up and go. There's no daily commute. And my goodness, some people drive an hour each way to go to work. That is lost time. And you choose your schedule. Even if online and classroom teaching, I did this in Thailand and Vietnam. I worked both at this, the same day, but different times, right? I can teach it from my condo in Iloilo, and walk the walking path called the Esplanade every day. That's an example of the freedom it brings. Classroom teaching usually requires fixed schedules, travel time, staff meetings, and being physically present. Often in public schools like Vietnam without air conditioning, just many fans and salted water, afternoon classes can be brutally hot at 40 degrees Celsius, and not every teacher can handle it. I did recently at the age of 59 for 4 months, and that was enough for me. Thailand public schools had air conditioning at the school I taught at called Prince Royal's College in Chiang Mai, Thailand. Okay, student interactions, advantage two. Here, classroom teaching wins. Oh, let's just do that. It's easier to build many teachings. Oh, I should correct that. I'll correct that quickly. Teacher, oh, a little bit more in there. Teacher-student relationships in person faster. Of course it is. Now, this is key. I'm going to put how they often structure big classes that are maybe 38, 39, 40 students. Uh, More group activities are actually needed to control larger classes. Two golden examples are paired working, where they can read and talk to each other, right? Ask questions back and forth. That's very important. Um, so you can demonstrate at the front with a couple of students and then say, okay, teams, you get 5 minutes to do it, in pairs. And then usually the classroom, if there's like 3 rows, there's usually 13 or 14 students in each row. And you can go team 1, team 2, team 3. That way you can have points on the board, or I always handed out stickers. I started with candy, but stickers, much cheaper, and they love stickers as well, just as much as candy in general. So when you have 3 different teams competing, you're using peer pressure in a constructive, competitive way. So they all want to behave constructively, which is it's beautiful to see in action. But much more energy is required, especially on very hot afternoons. After lunch, noisier, thirstier, constantly getting water, which is encouraged, and progressively more tired classes as the noon time goes on. In the heat, you tire out quickly. It can be a better classroom atmosphere or worse, depending if the classes are streamlined. Streamlined means some schools will put the naughty with the naughty, and therefore classes become naughtier, and the not naughty and talented with the not naughty and talented. So some schools become, some classrooms become like angels. So you'll go to a couple classes that are like perfect behavior, and then you'll step into one and you'll think, what in the world happened? That's streamlining, right? Basically they're saying you're going to be doctors or whatever, and you're going to be plumbers or street sweepers or something to the other group, right? It's literally what they're implying. All right. So that's streamlining. Students often become memorable parts of your life. For example, on my computer, I still have 2 stickers that a couple little girls came up and gave me stuck on my computer. And that's their way of saying, I love you, teacher, basically. And it's very cute. That's like grade 3, right? In primary school. So online teaching can sometimes feel more isolating, but you can teach groups online as well. And you can teach privately or on platforms like I teach on Lingo Ace. So total physical response is when you go like, what did you say? And you want them to talk, or you say, oh, look at my mouth and listen. And you might say, oh, I see. Oh, I hear you. And good job. It's really good for beginners. With beginners, you got to be more clown-like and use hand gestures and facial expressions to communicate more. It's more body language because they don't have the skills yet to communicate with words and other sounds. Okay, advantage 3, discipline and classroom management. Online teaching wins here. It's generally much easier. What I do when I'm teaching online and they're not behaving, and I've warned them like 5 times, I'll say, listen, see this? See this pen? At the end of this class, I write a report on you, and your mom and dad are going to see it. Um, are you going to behave? And I'll do that. I might not give them the stars. Sometimes I usually have stars and thumbs up that you can give them. You can take some away, or you can not give them anymore until they listen. But I usually threaten the pen as a last resort. Like I just tell them, I get the last say. And if they don't want to comply, I just say, go ahead, waste your time. I don't think your mom and dad are going to be happy with that. But if you want to waste your time, I can do everything for you, but I can't do the work for you. So, but I usually have many techniques. I might show them this. Come on, do your work. This is a prop for teaching, right? For little ones, but it's funny for the big ones too. His name is Sam. Okay, so classrooms can involve noise, disruptive students, and large groups. I would often I pick out the ones that are the troublemakers, and I'd stand them at the front. And in some uh, classrooms, I might have 10 students at the front, half the class at the front. That's what you got to do, you do it. Luckily, it was usually only two or three classes. I mean, two or three students at the front. And then what I would do is I put them to work really quickly and sit them down. Uh, so really, at first there was punishment, but then it turned into work. They're my assistants at that point, and then they do some work and they sit down. So online classes are usually smaller and easier to manage, of course. However, internet issues and technical problems can occur, like power outages. Often having a battery backup is important. Maybe your computer will crash. Maybe the platform itself won't let you in. I had that happen recently, and I happened to know the supervisor there, and I emailed him and I said, took a photograph of it, and I said, I need you to cancel that teacher absent um, charge because I couldn't get in to the classroom. And he emailed me back and said, yeah, that was a bug. Don't worry, right? Okay, number 4, income potential. It depends on location, of course, and the currency you're being paid in, but classroom teaching offers stable salaries and benefits, but you can probably make equal or more online. I like doing both. Um, Now I'm emphasizing online greatly because in the Philippines, you don't need to teach them English. Really, you don't. There's not much market or demand for it. So online teaching is often paid per class, and income can go up and down depending on holidays and summer vacation and such. For example, in China, the students are starting to go on holidays, usually in mid-July, so in about 3 more weeks. Private students in IELTS classes can increase earnings. So that's what I've been doing. I use Google AdWords to try to um, collect students to teach IELTS to, because that's a more profitable niche that I learned a few years ago. And plus, if you get enough private students, you can charge quite a bit more than the platforms such as Lingoways, right? And it takes time to get these students. But once you get them, usually they will refer other students to you, right? As well. Okay, advantage number 5, lifestyle and stress. So online, there's less traveling or commuting, more independence, flexible schedules, better work-life balance. And for me, that means morning coffee, uh, daily walks, and living in Southeast Asia. So the more independence means you have to be responsible. You, and you know, not drink alcohol when you teach. Um, Show up on time, make sure everything's working, stuff like that, right? Who should choose classroom teaching? If you enjoy social environments, you like working with groups, want cultural immersion, enjoy a structured workplace. That's really when you get into a school of 35 to 40 students, it takes talent to control the classroom. I'll give you one example. I was teaching at primary school in Vung Tau, Vietnam, and I had a TA who was good most of the time, but he would, when I'm at the front teaching, he would high five students and start talking to them while I'm teaching. And finally, at the end of class, I said to him, hey, I want their attention on me, not you. It's nice that you do that, but you don't do that when I'm teaching, and they need to be looking at the front of the board and engaged. I said, don't do that again. And he did it again the next class. And I said, look, If I have to tell you again, the TA's name I can leave out, but if I have to tell you again, you're going to be on the other side of out of the door looking in at me teaching. So we have, as teachers, we have uh, well, the authority to put them outside the door if they're not listening to us, right? But you got to do it diplomatically and polite, right? All right, because if they're talking when I'm talking, they're dividing authority. In fact, it's like a challenge. The students go, "Who's the boss here?" And it's not them, not in my classroom. All right, who should choose online teaching? Well, if you enjoy technology, that helps a lot. You want location independence, such as remote working, and you prefer smaller classes, although you can get, there are some platforms that will let you teach like 20 students, but the trouble with online, I limit it to six students at a time when I teach group, because then that's talk time in 1 hour. They all might get 8 minutes talk time per hour. So to me, it really gets limited to six students at a time if you're a professional, intelligent teacher, right? All right, final verdict. For me, I value both, but it took me time to learn both. I have learned to teach both and often do both styles of teaching at the same time. Online teaching currently wins because of the flexibility, independence, and lifestyle balance it provides. Both paths can be rewarding, so learn to excel at both. All right, well, thank you very much for listening to all this. There were truly some very useful tips in there, especially um, how to work with large classrooms by putting them into teams and then into pairs within those teams. Those are golden points that you know even experienced teachers may not have learned yet. So please subscribe or follow and thumbs up, please. And we'll see you tomorrow, Tuesday's theme. Bye now.